the Czars thing was painfully stupid in a way that still hurts 5 years later, right? You can still feel how stupid that all was. But in the first year of the Obama presidency, the controversy over President Obama appointing point people, managers, to coordinate the administration's response on specific policy matters, it really was a huge conservative media freakout and a huge Republican Party freakout in Washington. I mean, of all the dumb political stories of that first year of the Obama presidency, it was the biggest of the dumbest stories.
The czars are the issue. We have about 24 so-called czars, the pay czar, the car czar, all these czars in the White House. And that really is an affront to
the President of the United States should cease and desist with the appointment of any additional czars. And
what I filed is H.R. 3569, which is called the SAC Act. This bill would sunset all czars effective December 31st of this year.
You know, the Constitution of the United States doesn't get read often enough in this building. Nowhere in this document can I find the word czar.
But who came up with czar? But who came up with czar? Because it didn't really work out that well for the last official czar. So who came up with that? I could see what car czar because it rhymed. Well, but all the other ones just sort of fell to me on deaf ears.
I think that the president just likes the term. I don't know. As you know, Tsarist Russia had 18 czars over a 300-year period of time, and maybe that's the model for this administration. I don't really know.
I don't really know. Maybe this president just likes the idea of turning us into Russia, and not the good Putin Russia either, the bad mustache, 300 years, 18 czars kind of czars. That specific congressman there lamenting the sound of the word czar on Fox News, he is named Jack Kingston. He was one of the Republican members of Congress who filed legislation. It wasn't just the SAC Act. The Jack Kingston legislation would have blocked the president's ability to appoint a czar in government, to appoint a person to coordinate the administration's action on an area of policy, which before 2009 was a totally uncontroversial technique of modern American governance that nobody talked about in a way that made you hate the sound of that word. That was our national experience in 2009, right? But 2009 really was sort of the heat of the moment around that. Into 2010 and then into 2011, Republicans and our friends at the Fox News channel, they did move on to other sources of excitement. So after 2009, they did get into other things, and they forgot a little bit after 2009 that they really did hate these czars so much, and that was the most important issue in Washington. They forgot enough about how much they hated czars that by the time the Ebola crisis rolled around this year in 2014, this same guy who introduced the anti-czar bill, who said the whole reason we have czars is because President Obama just likes the sound of it because he wants to turn us into Russia, that same congressman this year just published this op-ed. We need an Ebola czar by Congressman Jack Kingston. And we know he wrote his own headline for this one because he posted it on his own congressional website under his own picture. We need an Ebola czar, says the man who tried to ban czars. Jerry Moran from Kansas, Frank Wolf from Virginia, they both co-sponsored the Jack Kingston anti-czar bill. They just put out a joint statement demanding that the Obama administration have an Ebola czar. John McCain, back in 2009, he had been smugly tweeting about the Romanovs and how Barack Obama had more czars than the actual czars had czars. That was 2009. John McCain went on CNN now, this year, to stare his former self in the face and say, "Niet, niet, das vidanya, old John McCain." New John McCain likes a czar. In fact, demands a czar.
I would say that we don't know exactly who's in charge. There has to be some kind of czar.
There has to be some kind. I do not know whether this sort of thing is evidence of the fact that smart people do not go into politics anymore, or if this is the reason that smart people don't go into politics anymore, because our politics is like this. But this really is how stupid our politics is around issues like czars and stuff. So it almost goes without saying that after Republicans this year have been quite unselfconsciously clamoring for President Obama to appoint an Ebola czar, demanding that he appoint an Ebola czar, saying he's being irresponsible as long as he doesn't appoint an Ebola czar, now that President Obama today appointed an Ebola czar, the Republican response, say it with me now, we don't need an Ebola czar. That was the response today from Senator Ted Cruz of Texas.